Here we are going to learn about principles of design. Earlier we learned that to make a good composition, we have to arrange elements of design with certain guidelines, and those guidelines are actually called as the principles of design. So basically they are the concept that is used to arrange the elements together to gain a good composition. There are different types of principles of design. Let's see one by one. The first principle of design is balance. Balance refers to the distribution of visual weight so that they are the visual equilibrium between the similar or the contrasting elements. This principle basically helps in achieving a well-balanced look in the composition. Balance is classified into three types. The first type is symmetrical balance. In symmetrical balance, the elements or the weight are distributed equally across the central axis. So basically the elements will be either repeated or mirrored in this type of balance. The second type is asymmetrical balance. Asymmetrical balance means the elements are non-evenly distributed across the central axis, which means the elements vary either in the size or shape or even in the color, etc. So basically they will be balanced by distributing the weight of it equally across the central axis. And the third type is called as the radial balance. Here the elements or the weight will radiate evenly from the central focus point. So some of the example I can give is sun rays. The rays actually radiate evenly from the center point of the sun. So this can be an example for this type of symmetry. And again, radial balance will actually guide the viewer's eye point of view to the central focal point, which means the central subject of the composition. The next principle is movement. Movement refers to the visual flow. That means the way our eye moves through the composition. So this principle basically helps the designer to gain the control or to direct the viewer's eye over the composition. The next principle is rhythm. Rhythm refers to the defined interval between the alternation or repetition of the elements. Basically, this is similar to the musical composition, where the musician writes the notes with certain intervals to gain the rhythm of it. This rhythm principle basically helps in establishing the pattern. Rhythm can be divided into various types such as random, regular, alternate, flowing or progressive. The next principle that we are going to learn is emphasis. If in a composition only a certain part or a portion of the design is being emphasized, then that is called as the emphasis. This is basically done to gain the attention from the viewers. Emphasis basically helps in setting up the focal point. Also, it can be divided into three stages. The first is dominant. The second is subdominant and the third is subordinate. So they also helps in achieving the orders in the composition. The next principle is contrast. Contrast refers to the arrangement of two different elements or effects. For example, light and dark, large and small, or soft and rough. So basically contrast principle helps in gaining the variation in the composition so that there will be some sort of visual interest developed in the composition. The next principle that we are going to learn is pattern. The repetition of elements or any objects in any composition is called as the patterns. So pattern can be either repeated in a regular manner or in alternative manner. If in regular manner only one element is required to make a pattern, whereas in alternative manner more than one element is required to make a pattern. The next principle is proportion. Proportion of design means relativity between two or more elements. Sometimes it can be even with the single element itself, where we can relate its body to its part. So basically proportion of design helps in achieving an order in the composition, so it can help in visually constructing the whole composition. The final principle of design that we are going to learn is harmony. Harmony is the important aspect of the principles of design. So harmony means how well the elements are put together so that they look like they belong to each other. If this principle is used properly, we can gain a completeness in the composition, and also it provides a cohesive quality to the composition.